Hi everyone, welcome back to my channel. Today I'm going to take you through the early stages of my vertical container garden journey. As a plant-based homemaker with limited space, I've had to get creative with my patio. And if you're like me, plant obsessed, but limited on space, this video is for you. First, as someone following a predominantly plant-based diet, these vegetables form the foundation of so many of my favorite meals. Having them fresh and accessible right outside my door is a game changer. Second, these plants all have excellent vertical growth potential. Tomatoes, cucumbers, and long-necked squash are natural climbers. Zucchini and eggplant can be trained to go upward with proper support. Okra and peppers grow tall naturally, but benefit from support as they fruit. Third, they all thrive in similar conditions, making container garden management much simpler. I've chosen some amazing vegetables that naturally want to climb or can be trained to grow vertically. Long-necked squash, zucchini, eggplant, okra, cucumber, peppers, and tomato. Let me show you how I'm growing them all in containers while maximizing my limited patio space. I'm focusing on growing nightshades, cucurbits, and herbs vertically to maximize my small urban oasis. When you're working with a patio rather than a yard, every square inch matters. Vertical gardening has been a game changer for me. Not only does it save space, but it also improves air circulation around plants, reduces fungal disease problems, and makes harvesting so much easier. It also creates a beautiful living wall effect. Long-necked squash and zucchini were obvious choices for my vertical garden. These cucurbits naturally want to spread horizontally, but with proper support, they're happy to climb. From what I've read, long-necked squash produced abundantly throughout the summer. The unique curved shape makes harvesting satisfying, and zucchini's prolific nature means I'll have plenty for my plant-based meals. Cucumbers were another must-have, and freshly picked cucumbers have a crisp sweetness you can't find in store-bought varieties. Tomatoes, peppers, and eggplants form the backbone of so many of my favorite recipes. These nightshade family members thrive in containers with proper support, love the same growing conditions, and provide incredible yield from a small footprint. I chose the patio tomato variety specifically because they continue growing and producing throughout the season. For peppers, I'm growing both mild and hot varieties to cover all of my cooking needs. And I was surprised to learn that okra is an amazing vertical choice. While not typically thought of as a climbing plant, okra grows tall and slender naturally. With some gentle training and support, I should be able to create a beautiful architectural element. And the star-shaped flowers are supposed to be gorgeous before they become pods. And I'm hoping that harvesting becomes much simpler as they grow upright. As you can see, my garden is not looking particularly vertical yet, as my garden is still in its early stages. I am excited and cannot wait until my garden progresses enough for the addition of extendable garden spikes in the upcoming weeks. These will hopefully provide stronger support as the plants mature, allow me to adjust the height as needed, and create a more structured look for my vertical garden. I'm already super excited about the potential of my garden, and I've already purchased a 5-pack of 20-gallon fabric grow bags as my green thumb was itching to expand. I am still deciding what other vegetables and herbs are an absolute must. I would love to hear suggestions from fellow patio gardeners. I am strongly considering taking a try at growing peas, green beans, broccoli, cauliflower, and maybe a leafy plant or two. I am trying to stick with visible plant growth, but I'm still considering a couple containers with plants like green onions, leeks, turmeric, ginger, garlic, and carrots. And all of these vegetables are sun lovers. My patio fortunately gets 6+ hours of direct sunlight daily, and some afternoon shade, which helps during the hottest days. And if your space gets less light, focus more on leafy greens and herbs instead. Typically, container gardens dry out faster than in-ground gardens. For my setup, I water deeply every morning to reduce evaporation. I try to water at the base if possible, not on the leaves to prevent disease. And during heat waves, I sometimes add an evening watering as well. And adding mulch to the soil surface also helps retain moisture. The fruiting plants like tomato and peppers need consistent moisture to prevent blossom end rot and other issues. You can also include a simple drip irrigation system with a timer to make this more manageable for about $30. A simple $30 setup waters everything consistently even when you're not home. The moisture level in containers can change rapidly, so stick your finger an inch into the soil, and if it feels dry, it's time to water. Since nutrients leach out of containers more quickly than in-ground gardens, regular feeding is pretty essential. From what I've read and learned, it's recommended that you use liquid organic fertilizer every 2 weeks, an occasional compost tea for micronutrients, and add mulch on top to retain moisture and slowly release nutrients. My garden is still very young. Your garden will grow fast, so it's important to remember a few crucial steps when harvesting vertically grown vegetables. Use both hands, one to hold the plant, one to harvest. Harvest frequently to encourage production. And for vining plants, it's very important to pick from the bottom up. Herbs are a perfect container companion. And here's the ones I've included. Basil. It pairs perfectly with tomatoes, both in my garden and in my cooking. Oregano, a perennial that spreads beautifully in containers. Cilantro. Honestly, it pairs well with my peppers and tomatoes. Fresh salsa, anyone? Sage. It's drought tolerant and adds beautiful color. And parsley. It's so versatile and grows abundantly. And you might wonder why I didn't include popular herbs like thyme, dill, fennel, mint, rosemary, or chives. Honestly, my choices came down to the frequency of use in my cooking. For example, I rarely use fennel. Mint is known to be invasive even in containers. I considered my climate suitability. My particular patio location may get too hot for some of the herbs, and my available space is limited, so I tried to focus on my most used herbs. And finally, just previous experience. In the past, I just didn't get enough bang for my buck. There are so many amazing vegetables that do well in containers that didn't make my first cut this year. Peas and beans. They need cooler temperatures than my summer patio provides. If I choose containers further back though, they are still an option, as that part of my patio is not always in full sunlight. And I considered leafy greens. I'm focusing on summer production this year and space is premium. Although I have not ruled them out though. Root vegetables. I want to maximize visible production. But honestly, these are very tempting. Brassicas or brassicas, however you pronounce that, like broccoli and cauliflower, they need more space than I can really provide. However, I am considering trying just to see if I have success. While onions and garlic grow well in containers, they do take longer to mature. However, tempting. And I'm honestly on the fence with these. Creating this vertical garden will hopefully allow me to grow an abundance of vegetables for my plant-based kitchen, despite limited space. I'd love to hear what you're growing in your container gardens. Leave a comment below with your favorite space-saving garden tips. If you are enjoying this tour of my developing garden, please give this video a thumbs up and subscribe for more plant-based homemaking content. Let me know in the comments if you have any suggestions for plant additions and what you're personally growing in your small space. And if you're not growing anything, why not? Until next time, stay chatty and keep growing up.